Dope.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I'm sitting here talking about covering costs
Well,
with speaking. I'm like, that's
Hey. Top.
I don't know if anyone was listening. Anyways, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Light Podcast in the building. Air horns.
Yo,
Air
sorry.
horns.
Hey, bow, 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 bow.
There we go.
Dude
Yes,
with glasses
yes.
is missing it.
He's currently on. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. He's just.
I got
skipping
an
around.
email
What's
from
up,
our
everyone?
guest as we open the
You got an
the
email from
show.
who?
Our guest, Justin.
You got an email from him?
Just now, and that confused me in the moment. Therefore, I was delayed on the air horn. I don't know. He looks confused too. Notice my confusion. It doesn't matter. What's up?
It's probably an email you sent yesterday, and he's just now getting it. Like, oh shit, did he get in the thing? Oh wait, he's right here. Anyways, tonight we have Justin Reid on here today. Woo!
what's up, gang?
Fellow Carolinian, well, South Carolinian, or North
Carolinian?
Carolinian,
That is not right.
Carolinian. What do you want to hear?
Carolinian? Carolinian.
That's what I said, Carolinian.
You're still not saying it.
Oh, whatever, Carolinian.
That is
whatever.
not the
Yeah,
same
you
thing.
just said something else.
Well, fuck it. I'm from Ohio, so I don't care.
Right. Cool.
Oh, man.
Okay, yeah. So Justin is from South Carolina, and we're gonna go all over all of his stuff. I'm buddies with Justin, so sometimes it's hard for me because I usually know our guests super well, and for me to act like I don't and like ask you questions like I don't know the answer already is like strange to me.
It's you not being your natural self is the problem.
I don't know. Fake it till you make it. I'm good at what's
We're
up.
we're very good at that so far.
Yeah. Maybe you can just do all the grilling and
I mean, I can, and because me and Justin have met a couple times potentially. We've crossed paths, but we haven't really actually sat down and had much conversations in the past. Anyways,
Yeah.
he's one of the regs. He's one of the regs.
He's
at the
just one of the
stuff,
regs,
you know.
regular. So again, just to start off, we like to go a little bit back in the past. So, kind of as Eric would say, what's your deal in terms of where you started and what got you into the DJ world, basically?
What's your deal? I started when I was 19.
He said that so many times. He's like, "What's your deal? Like, what's your shit?"
My deal is I started when I was 19. I'm 39 now, so I've been doing this for a while.
Nice.
There's that odd thing if you've done this half your life. That's very strange. I can't say that about much.
Right.
So got into it then. Purchased a company in 2007. My shit is bought a company, ran it in the ground. Thought bars and nightclubs were way more where I wanted to be than like the private event space. And then
What do you mean you
we did
ran a
that.
company into the ground?
I bought a company. I literally like stopped doing all the things that made it successful, and then just went and DJ'd bars and stuff. And then fast forward a few years, was like, all right, I went back to college, was putting myself through it. I'm like, you know what? I can do this DJ thing and pay for myself to get through school. Started doing it. Then we got successful with it. It grew at a rate that I didn't know. So I graduated college and then went right back to this business that we had built because it was going to pay way more than a graphic design degree. And so, dude, that was like, I don't know, 7 years ago or so. So we've been grinding, and now we have 3 DJ companies in 2023, kind of a lower tier, a mid tier, and an upper tier. In the mobile space, we operate photo booths, DJ things, all the usual stuff. And now our newest in the last year or two is the AV side. We have a decent little, it's grown. That's the part that
Like a production,
I find exciting.
Like a corporate sort of thing, corporate screens and projectors.
Yeah, we have a hotel contract, which is nice. So, man, taking orders, dude.
Yeah.
There's no selling. You're just taking orders, and fulfilling and doing that stuff. So we do that, and we do it for some companies. But that's kind of it. And now this has kind of grown to, we've got about, not full time by any means, but we have low 30 something employees, like 5 full timers. So
is that just the AV or like across the board on everything you just named?
across the board, everything.
Yeah. That's fucking still huge as fuck. So that's sick. Yeah, I mean,
one day I'll be to your size, bro. But we're working on it.
No, I mean, we're not even. I didn't know about the AV thing. So your premium Uptown. Are you up? What was the name?
Uptown.
Uptown.
Uptown Entertainment. Yeah.
Okay, so Justin is like 3 hours from us. Greenville's probably 3 hours from Greensboro.
It's actually like 2.5. It's not even that far.
It's roughly 3 hours.
Well, it depends on the traffic in Charlotte.
Okay. Well, he's South Carolina. Premium brand was Uptown, and you started the. I can't remember.
We started Sound Choice back, and you're good. It's not like you built a DJP for it or anything.
I know. I couldn't remember the name of it. I'm curious. Oh, so when we did that, which was how many years ago?
7,000 other ones. So
yeah, but
2020, man.
That was in 2020, like right COVID stuff.
Yes.
How has that grown? Because that was nothing, to begin with.
It was nothing. So 2019, like September, we rolled this thing out at a wedding festival, bridal show kind of thing. And then 6 months, and it's tough to get started. It was going back from being a successful company back to ground zero is challenging.
Right.
You kind of forget how difficult that is. But we did, and so 6 months goes by, and then the world ends. And so we had a handful of things booked, and I said, let's just dump what little money that's coming in. Let's double down. Let's advertise with the Knot Wedding Wire. Let's pay Erik to systematize this whole thing. And we did. And so that year, or like 2021, I think we did like 13 weddings. In 2022, we did 108.
Sick.
Year over year. And this year, I don't know, way more than that though.
Right. Right.
So
is that the lower tier brand?
Yeah.
That's the new lower tier brand.
Yeah, we have 151 booked right now.
Do you not think
for this for 2023?
Well, you clearly don't think about what. So do you? I was gonna say, I'm always like, I feel like it's like competing with yourself in a way, because like you have this premium brand, and then you have what some premium people would call undercutters or whatever, even though it's bullshit. It's a different service, but you see the Facebook groups.
Different service, different.
You get my point.
Clientele.
You get what I'm saying, though. Yeah. So, I don't even know how to word this correctly. If let's say you get a lead at Uptown, and they don't have the budget, would you just immediately be like, "We have a budget brand," and pawn it down?
Sister company downsell.
And then you're also advertising for the other also. And so that just brings its own shit in.
Did I hear you right? You have a middle tier brand too?
So Rick, that's where honestly the two wasn't so difficult, because you're talking the average spend on our budget brand is like $1,300 a wedding right now, 13, 14, somewhere in there. Package is basically between $995 and like $1,500. And then you have Uptown, which our average is 3-4 times that. So those are kind of easy to delineate between the two.
Right.
To your point, it's a different client in 99% of the scenarios. So we bought a competitor of ours, died in 2021, and we were friendly with them. So I bought it last year. August will be a year. So that's the middle tier. That's where it gets more difficult. That's where competing with yourself really is happening. Just being, I'm a straight.
I just want to hear about it. Yeah.
It's one of our problems right now. Is I think we're losing business in our top brand because some people go, oh, well, we can get like
close enough,
almost as good. Yeah, close enough, perfect. So that's a challenge. So still figuring that part out. But man, I mean, there's plenty to go around, and we're still eating just fine. And
well, I mean,
keeping a stable of DJs busy. So.
You don't DJ yourself anymore, or do you? You just run the show.
Funny, man.
You do?
I have one left in October. I just did over the last 3 weeks. I did two, just DJ Saturday, and then 2 weeks before that, and then I have one more in October,
Is
and
that
then I'm
exit?
done with weddings. Yeah, it's a weird feeling, man. Like, it's funny. Saturday, I hopped on, murdered it, and to be just straight up, like I walked into that feeling a little rusty, and I was like, man, you gotta, get your shit together, and like crushed it.
Yeah.
It's like riding a bike; it just came right back.
Yeah.
And all week I've been like excited. Since then, I've been like jazzed about DJing. Like we have training going on in the warehouse right here tonight, and we're just helping teach DJ. So like I'm excited about it. It's just at some point, as you guys know, there's only so much time you have in your life and day to day. And I eat, sleep, and breathe this already 5+ days a week. Well, as an entrepreneur, it's a 7-day a week thing.
Yeah.
It's always in your head.
Yeah.
Right.
So having some time to spend with my wife, like COVID was one of those things where we were able to spend Saturdays together and, normal people weekends. And like, I really liked it. And plus it gives me freedom that if something happens, I can always hop in and go, oh, I got you covered. It's that built-in insurance. So
Right.
I'm excited to be, I don't know, man. I enjoy the art of DJing. Just playing from a must playlist and a do not playlist isn't as exciting as it once was. I like doing like an open format, my own thing a little more, but yeah, man. So I'm almost done. And now I'm going to be able to go shadow some people, every once in a while to see
Just
how they're doing and just
quality
check in and
check.
kick it and work. And
Right.
so, yeah.
That's what I always said is like, DJing, it's not that I don't think it's fun. It's just if I'm going to DJ for fun, it's going to be for fun. I don't have to, like I have the people that'll fill the jobs and whatnot, and that's fine. And they're having fun doing that. But, I always go back to the emo night. I love that music, and I can go DJ an emo night. I won't even charge the bar. If it's packed, that's all I want is it to be fun.
Yep.
And, I'll do that once or twice a year. But,
I'll say this, Eric. It's at some point when what brings you joy shifts, like what makes you happy or feeds in here. Like at one point that was me, myself, DJing, blah, 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 blah. At this point, it's empowering other people, teaching them how to do it, running a business that is successful, that has taught these other people, like all the back end, all the crap, all the bills sitting here on the desk that need to get paid and all that stuff. Like as boring and mundane as that is, at some point,
not boring.
Having this other thing that you are handling is where I get joy from instead of the actual DJing part itself.
For sure. I
love the fact that we get to do this is great.
I think of it very much like a scorecard, like a video game almost. Like how big can I make the points, and that just however bigger in this category, bigger in that category, it doesn't really matter as long as it's bigger. In my brain, that's like kind of how I whatever. But back to your, focusing on your middle tier and your highest
problem
tier.
child.
What the problem child? Well, so for, you said you're having difficulty with people saying, oh, this is close enough. Well, what makes them different? I'm not a client, so you can be a much easier answer probably with that.
Sure. It's the intangibles. It's experience. It's just time behind the wheel. It's polish. It's a lot of things. And so it's furniture. It's a stair lighting. It's a mix up of the intangibles and the stuff.
So with the upper tier, with the higher tier, obviously it's your vet DJs. It's the Arlie, right? Arlie is one of your DJs.
Yep.
He's
definitely there. Yeah.
So he, super dope DJs, and that's the people. Those are using the furniture with the stair tubes and all the fancy shit. Now your middle tier,
Correct.
It might not be the dopest, but they're good DJs.
Yeah.
What
sure.
kind of gear are they using? Is it the same type of shit, or is it lesser? Like, what's the setup look like to a? Is it? Yeah,
that's part of the problem, man. There's a to to the three of us, you would go, "Oh, that's this kind of booth," but this is that kind of booth. To the consumer,
It
man,
all looks
they
the
just
same.
see they just see a 6 foot table, or they see something that looks way better than a 6 foot table,
Right.
most likely.
Yeah.
So, so that's where we have to tinker. But the other problem is when you buy a company, and my promise to the lady I purchased it from is like, we'll fulfill this stuff as intended. Like, we're not gonna
Right.
just all of a sudden buy this business and change everything we're doing. So in a way, you're kind of, at least for 12 months, you're kind of constrained by whatever the previous
Right.
thing that was sold that you were just have to carry through. Um, so that's part of the challenge. Like I said, that's
Do you have a game plan?
people go, oh my
for once
God, you have 30 people working on it, man. I mean, plus it's just time of understanding how they interact.
Did you
You
purchase
work
the
on your
employees?
circles.
You purchased those DJs
no, you
as
can't.
well, or like?
Eric, I don't know if you know this. You can't buy people.
Why
Right?
hell?
So you can't buy some people.
I don't know
So,
about that.
This man be trying over here.
But
so you inherit what you get. I don't want to go too into this.
okay, yeah,
but
I didn't mean to. Okay,
No, you're good. No, you're good. Like, so there were some employees that came along. Some are great, and some just kind of didn't fit with our philosophy of how we work. So some of those folks aren't
right.
here anymore. And the other part of that is like everybody ends up where they're at for a reason, right? So like we run this very much like a business. There are rules and there are all the things that it takes to make it scalable, successful, etc. So you need people who are down, people who buy into that culture and want to be a part of that. And it's not for everybody. That's why you have a bunch of dudes who do it on their own. More power to them. Just there's strength in numbers, and the team is a like there's certain teams around the country that people look at as being very powerful. SCE, LaForce, those guys. There's a reason. Because there's strength in numbers, and the more talented motherfuckers you can get in a room and feed off of each other, man, it just grows exponentially. So, can we swear on here? Is that
Yeah,
cool? I think
plenty.
so.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
This whole format is very just kind of like wherever the rabbit hole goes, filled with cussing.
I don't necessarily want to know the details exactly on your purchase, but I've always been curious when you go to, because I mean, everyone's talked about like, oh, it's this and this, but like, how do you put a value on purchasing a wedding specific DJ company that those events are here now, but they're not guaranteed. It's not like you're buying a corporate clientele that is going to be there every single month, year over year. You're buying one-off events, a company that does one-off events. How do they put a value on that?
Rick, that's a great question. So I met with my accountant. At some point you have this conversation on a personal level with that person you're buying it from. At some point, and in her case, she was waiting, after someone passes, things go to probate. There's generally 365 days that have to go by before, make sure there's no outstanding bills or anything along the way. And then she's able to make a move. So maybe 6 months into that, we started the conversation. I laid out my plan of how I ideally, like I learned what she wanted to do and I knew her pain point. And her point, this was his passion, not hers.
Yeah.
So I knew the faster we could get her out, and I don't mean that the way it sounds, but the faster we could give her freedom, the better. So it's a bit of a trust thing. We did not do an NDA. I would suggest in some cases we probably should have. But she gave me financials from the past 3 years. That's generally what it's based off of. You look at your net, your net gain on those 3 years, what profit you're rolling with. And then you start looking through all the expenses. Well, that's just, you dive into all of what they're spending money on, a balance sheet, P&L, those whole things. And you go through there, and basically it's the 3 years average. Unfortunately for them, COVID year was in there, so that definitely
affected
skews it one way. Yeah, for sure, it skews it that way. But and then it's just make an offer. And I got to give a shout out on this one, like Matt Radicelli, who I think was just on, or he's
He
going
was
to be
just
on
on last
soon.
week.
Like,
Yeah, last week.
well, he, he was really straight up. He goes, most DJ companies are probably worth nothing. In fact, they're probably worth less than nothing. And I'm like, oh, because coming up, being very hungry and trying to build and grow and
Yeah.
make it bigger, as Erik said, like, I was like, shit, not worth anything or worth less. And you start diving in, and man, they're not. They're really not. So unless you build it as such, that's why for me, like adding AV and building depth in what we do does make it valuable. But generally, it's a dude who has a couple other dudes that work around him or people. Um, and so once the dude is gone, and like in a scenario where somebody dies in a business, our businesses are tied to us in a lot of senses, or at least in general. If you look at the mobile DJ space, like the owner is the company, and the company is the owner to a large degree.
Yeah.
So when you remove that person, well, now you have to pay another person to replace that person. So like, there's a lot of things that go in. Sorry to get in the weeds on this,
Yeah.
but like,
We like the weeds.
but Matt, yeah, well, Matt goes, Matt goes, just I know this is an exciting thing, and anybody who's buying a company or trying to grow their whatever gets excited and gets amped up. But he goes, don't let that cloud, because truthfully, these things are generally not worth a ton. And I'll just say he's not wrong.
Right. Right. Anthony.
Once you dive into all the shit.
And that's kind of what I was saying with it's a company that does one-off events. So outside of the known expenses, your income is very questionable. And kind of like what you said, a lot of DJ companies, they don't know their margins and they're skating very thin on even making money.
Dude.
Except for themselves, predominantly.
Anthony Salas, Bald Anthony.
Yeah, smart guy.
Yes, smart guy. He is like he's bought I don't know how many DJ companies. That's like his thing, is buying DJ companies and absorbing them. That would be so he's like one of my convention buddies. I usually hang out with Anthony when I go. He's tried to explain that shit to me so many times, and I like mid conversation was like, dude, I'm not even gonna lie, I stopped listening. Like, you're so above my fucking I'm not smart enough for this conversation. I'm glad you think I am, but I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. It just doesn't seem possible to turn it into where it's beneficial. I had a dude hit me up from Charlotte, and he was like, hey, do you want to buy like the rest of my DJ contracts? And I immediately was like frustrated. I was like, what does that even mean? I was like, what is it? Just elaborate on that. And he just like, that was the end of the conversation because of the way I responded like a dick. But
the way that Erik's conversations go.
Yeah. But it's like, that's awesome that you figured that out and whatnot. And it sounds like after that 12 months is over and you can kind of edit it, then it truly becomes yours. And that's when it will bear the serious fruit.
It'll fit in line with the other ones.
Yeah. Well, you
TBD,
can,
like there's
to
be determined.
And it's recent, man, three tiers plus an AV thing, which is like a fourth tier in a way. Jesus.
What's crazy is literally I signed the papers, we met with the lawyer August 25th, the next day. So I'm like, all right, we have a lot of work to do. I already had my admin like copying over because we use EP. They did not. So we were moving everything over as quick as possible. And the next day, a day after buying it, I get a call from the hotel that now wants us to do this contract. So it was a lot of growth in a very small amount of time, and a lot of just saying yes and figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing with buying companies, Erik, and then I'll shut up about it, is, or like you're talking about Anthony. Anthony's figured out the formula, just like you with EP. You've set it up once, you can just duplicate and replicate. It's the same thing with DJ companies, in my opinion. Once you've done it once, like you figure out the formula, you can replicate that
Right.
to other things, even other event service companies.
Right.
Like there's a company I'm looking at that's not DJ at all, but I know the things we're good at are the things that they kind of suck at, and we could make way better, and it would alleviate a lot of stress in
Mm-hmm.
certain areas. So
Yeah.
like
Just like gig based
Be
once you've done
beneficial.
it,
work. Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. Taking basically a template that you've proven is successful and just filling out the gaps kind of thing.
Pretty much, if you learn how to build a successful business and do it multiple times, you can replicate that in just about any industry, knowing what formula it takes, where you have to spend your money to get the marketing right and get the clients through the door. The execution's the hard part. If you buy a company that already knows the execution point, and you can take over the marketing, sales, and get that all squared away on them, and customer service and stuff like that, those are the things that a lot of companies need too.
Well, that's really cool that you've expanded so drastically. You said earlier that in the warehouse, you pointed behind you, I guess you're in some kind of office warehouse thing. You said you're doing DJ training. How does that work?
It's a hybrid kind of situation. We use David Osborne's blueprint for the basics, the fundamentals, because we have some people who come in who are already DJs, and we have some people who come in who are school teachers
Right.
that don't know any of this stuff. So we use that as a base, and then we're actually revamping the program right now because again, as things evolve, you figure out and you learn more. And the way we're doing it has just kind of gotten stale. So but the longest story short is the component or the complementary part of the blueprint is having people in hands-on gear, learning those aspects. But the other parts of that is building culture, camaraderie, just using the DJs that we have that are skilled and empowering them to be teachers to teach the other people. So it's not just like myself or the other people in leadership per se. It's just it's your teammate, your coworker, whatever, however you call that's helping teach them. So that's a very 10,000 foot view of our training, but it starts with the blueprint, which is fantastic, and then coupling that with hands-on in the field, and then the next step of that is having them assist on weddings, because we do have multiple person teams with certain shows. So getting them reps when the responsibility is not on them. The lead is the lead, and they're there to soak in and just over time be exposed to that, because the more times behind the wheel, the better you are. So gradually over time, and then people's speed is different. Some people are ready much quicker than others, and some people take longer to develop.
Where do you usually find all these people? Or is there a specific place, or just kind of wherever they come from?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I was about to say, do you follow a lot of like what David talked about at where we at Atlantic City is when I saw him do the presentation on hiring and firing, or basically his hiring process that he uses with the Indeed applicants, and does the same sort of thing. Yeah.
1,000%. That's it. Formula works. And you weed out, you save time. You make people jump through a couple hoops. I mean, in our jobs as DJs and at events, sometimes you got to jump through hoops. So if you're not willing to do it for me, you ain't gonna be willing to do it for them. But if you are, we find the right people, and so we spend a decent amount of money on Indeed, like monthly. But
there's
if as a business owner, you extrapolate that out over a year, like it's nothing.
Right.
So there's an interesting software out there, or company. It's called Hiring Steps. So I got this through my coaching agency, but it's $25 a month. And then through that, you can post to all the different platforms. And like, if you want to post on Indeed, it's like 30 something or 150. But it has a lot of what like David talked about built into it. So it'll automatically email all the people that apply to do the video interview, and you can have it scheduled, and it'll show you their video interview testimonials right inside of the software for you. So it's got a lot of those steps already built into it, and it funnels it. I just used it for the first time to. I'm hiring an operations salesperson for our Greensboro Holiday Lights home service division. So I used it for the first time by the recommendation of my coach, and I was like, "This is pretty sick." That it weeded out all the clients for me. It forced them to go through this non-traditional method that makes them, more committed through that way. And then basically, she taught me basically how to do a group interview of all of them. So they have like this process in my coaching agency. It's like the 4-hour hiring process, which basically means you should only spend 4 hours to ever hire any position between posting and reviewing and then the group interview and then hire someone. But it was pretty cool. We went through the whole process and I liked it, but the hiring step tool was pretty damn cool and not that expensive. Anyways.
Yeah, that's no, that's cool. Like that formula has worked really well. I will say the other component is most people come through that, and then once you're getting the real right people, they know other real right people, and so like then that happens,
right?
Yeah, an exponential factor, basically.
That's where I found 100%.
Those folks are great.
Yeah. All of the DJs that I have, and I've gotten super lucky, have been friends of the DJs we started with, and it just kind of expanded out that way. How do you don't have to give me like literal numbers, but when they are training from like nothing, and then when they step into assistant, I guess, and then they step into more, blah, blah, blah. How do you, like payment wise,
compensate?
Yeah.
What's their compensation along the way?
How do you, I don't even know. Yeah. Like how the fuck does that work? I've honestly, so all my training and it was like literally like, fuck you. If you want to learn how to do this, you do it for free. Like you'll train. And then when you're ready to DJ, I'll throw you in the fire. That was that we haven't hired a new DJ in a while now, like from the ground up, but the dudes we found, they were like, for whatever reason, agreed to it. And so I don't think that people do it that way normally. So
I liked how when you first started, like back when we first started chatting, you had like broken down that I can pay them under $600 before I have to make them an employee. So I'm paying them for each gig. They only get paid this, and this, and this. That way, by this point, I know if they're going to make it or not, and just cut them out.
Yeah, well, it's true. You could bring them on 11 events before they hit 600, and you could. Then you had to make an employee, or 1099 them because 600 is the cap for training.
Someone do that math real quick. 600 divided by 11.
That's 50.
That's the look on my face.
It's $50. It's $50.
I knew that was the look on your face.
Yeah, and I mean this is 2018, but so $50 you can have them shadow 11 weddings, and at that point. If you convince me you're gonna, I'll know you're gonna make it 11 weddings in. That used to be my philosophy on it. That's old news now. But
so that's Erik shooting by the seat of his pants, and it worked. But what do you do?
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
so well, hang on. I have questions. You have them shadow 11 weddings.
So that was how we used to train DJs. We actually used to have them shadow 30 weddings total, but at the end of that 30 shadowing weddings, they were good enough to go on their own.
So they just shadowed and over time, like got more hands-on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would teach them behind the scenes a little bit. I'd be like, all right, this is how you set up the gear, and we'd do that. This is how you wrap a cable.
This is how you talk on the mic.
That's basically it. I just had to get them, and then, and at the events, we'd have them announce the cake cutting, and slowly they would do the introductions maybe, and then they'd take the reins, and then they'd DJ here and there, and I'd teach them how to mix behind the scenes a little bit. That was a very short part.
I don't know this to be true or not, but Brian Bass put in there in quotations, getting to go to a wedding with me is payment enough in Joe Bunn.
I think Joe Bunn literally charges for that, doesn't he?
Shit,
I'm pretty sure he does. Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure.
No offense to him.
Charge for everything.
I wouldn't be surprised. No offense to Joe.
I wouldn't
do
be
what you
surprised
do.
anyways, moving on.
But that's how I did
just bought my I just bought my like last of the original run of Bun DJ booths from him, so I can bust balls a little bit. But no, I mean going anytime you get to see, like he's built himself as a leader in the industry. You guys have a podcast. You guys are leaders in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's value in that. When you go Shadow Joe, like, or that's why you go to like we were talking about conferences earlier. If I go to that conference and get one thing that yields me, this
Return.
value for life, like, yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for. Like, it's a drop in the bucket. It's a small token. So anyway, to answer your question, we pay basically
You don't have
per
to
lesson of the
literally say a
blueprint.
dollar amount.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just curious.
Yeah.
though.
Oh, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because I don't want all of your employees that made $50 an event coming over to me.
Hey,
after
this is
seeing what we paid. So
5 years
I'll leave the dollars
ago.
out.
This is 5 years ago. I'm speaking on past.
And it finally
Jesus.
changed a year ago.
I
I'm just
don't
kidding.
even know. Anyways, whatever.
But no, so we pay like for training, and when they're, I will tell you this part because it's something we kind of found in. So we were using the blueprint. The problem was that as it progresses, there's a need to have a controller and music and all the things to get hands on. And we saw after like our first round, it's about a year and a half ago, the people in the first round that like weren't DJs but had access to gear frequently. I know this is a no shit kind of thing, but
Yeah.
they turned out way better than the people who didn't. Okay, we identified something that we needed to add into the process. So we've now, when you start your training, you get a Rev 1. It's
Okay.
$279 controller, get a Rev 1 to do this with. At the end of it's like 15 modules is the basic thing, and we pay X amount per, and it ends up being about the same price as a Rev 1. It's not life-changing money, but we are going to compensate you for your time as we empower you to be your better self. You can actually choose to keep said controller or take the money. This is also a test.
Ah,
People who would take the controller, like
they care.
obviously invested and want to keep going and care. Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then they will be better for it. And oh, by the way, then that Rev 1 is their backup controller down the road from when they go to a wedding. And they know how to use it because
I
that's what
just
they
see you
learned.
being like, so do you want the money or do you want the controller? You're just
Deal
like,
or no
"Wait."
deal?
You're like, which one is he gonna take?
Literally, it's
the dude's just like sweating.
It's literally deal or no deal. Here's your Rev 1. Here's your case. The banker's offering this amount. Which one do you want?
Okay, all right, okay. So they passed the test, and then
Well, the other part of that too is, in all truth, man, if you had somebody who busted their ass, got through training, goes, I want that, man, I'm all about this, you'd probably give them both. It ain't that much money.
yeah,
but,
Yeah,
like,
that's
who
true.
cares? Like
Yeah.
they're worth a lot,
right.
So is that
the
the
fact
trick?
that they're invested and want to keep going?
So is that your little side
No.
trick? If they take the Rev 1, you also get the money.
Don't tell anyone.
I haven't
hilarious.
gone down that road yet, Rick, but so adding that in the mix is part of that. So, and then they become assistants, which is where now they're actually in the field doing things, and we have a base rate for that. And then of course, like you guys, there's the rates go up from there depending on
This and that.
gigs, levels,
Yeah.
etc.
So do you have them assist/shadow the upper brand or other lower brands or all over the place?
Yeah, because you got
We want Swiss
700.
Army knives.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have like 700 companies. Where do they go? And I guess when they start DJing, they'd go to the bottom, and then work their way up, depending. I guess.
And we also and we'll like for weddings, we'll have just like standalone weddings that's just spark fountains. So we'll train them on spark fountains and they go do that. Like
Oh, just the rental, basically.
just
Yeah.
they're gonna go do it. Photo booths. We have a lot of photo booths. We'll bring on people. Hey, you want to make some extra money? I've always valued the people who want to have their hands in kind of all of it. Be a Swiss Army knife. Be good at a lot of things. So those are definitely, when you're making a schedule, those people are definitely the MVPs because there's a lot of different things versus having just one track of skill. So we want people who are willing to do that. I know this is maybe not the most interesting conversation talking about hiring, but like you want people who are willing to do whatever, just want to be a part of this thing. And I think that's also part of when you build something, if you want to talk like a legacy, if you're building this thing, when somebody goes, like, I won't say his name, but I just noticed recently there's a guy that I know that is moving to Dallas to work for LaForce.
Yeah.
They've put out this thing where this guy goes, damn it, I want to work with those guys. Like, that's a big deal. And so the same is true, and we're in a much smaller place, obviously, but we have people locally that are like, perfect example. We had a guy in yesterday interviewing. He worked for a different DJ company. I'm not one to poach. I saw him on social media say something about looking to join a team, or if anybody was looking for whatever. So I shot him. I DM'd him, just, hey, dude, um, I'd love to chat. I've been admiring from afar for a long time, but I'm not the guy to be like, hey, man, you want to come over? Like,
Right.
come on over. Never that guy. So he came in, and and just having that conversation um, with him and going over. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. I heard somebody knocking on my door. Um, but he was aware. Oh, that's what the point of it is. He was aware of who we were, what we did already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you're putting good work out into the world and people around you know what you're doing, that's also attractive.
Yeah. Wanting to
know.
be part of something bigger than just themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, and if the company you're working for is not great,
Culture.
you're
all
sitting
that.
over there. Yeah, at some point you'll come around. We're not pushy that way. Timing in life is key.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
camaraderie, like you said, super important. Honestly, so we used to, like, me and every single DJ that worked for me used to hang out very regularly. I would always have
yeah,
I would like buy a bunch of steaks or pizza or some shit like that, and like have them over to my house and cook, and everyone would go over stuff and blah blah blah. And then COVID hit, and I just switched gears so heavily, and just like really leaned on all the systems and automation, and kind of, I mean, basically stopped all of that nearly 100%, and it's still like that, and it's really actually starting to affect things, and that's been on my like list to somehow figure out how to not necessarily change all of our automatic how things are working, but to build camaraderie
right.
back into the mix, because like you said, it's just so important.
So
And it makes me feel good too. Like, I like to be part of shit too. It's not just for them, even though, yes, it's for them also. And it brings, I don't know, people just like their jobs better, basically.
So I like the back end conversations a lot. So I imagine it's not just yourself running the whole entire company over there, or 3, 4, 5 companies, whatever you got going on. So from like an operational team background, everything, what's the kind of the staffing you got that's office basically based?
Office based is, we have an admin who is the admin for 2 companies.
Uh-huh.
And then the budget brand is a partnership between me and a guy who's been here forever, who's just a phenomenal DJ, a phenomenal dude. So he handles the sales and all that for that. He's the front facing. I'm doing it for 2 other companies, so I do it for that one too. All of the behind the scenes stuff. As far as that, he handles some of the training. We have one of our guys who is on salary full time with us, who is also like, he's guaranteed X amount of dates a year. Like, that's what he's paid on. And then the other parts of that is we threw in some looser defined roles. Like, I need a project manager. Like, sometimes with our AV stuff for these corporations, not hotel stuff, but somebody's got to go and babysit and have a couple meetings and that stuff. So like that falls under that. He's going to help revamp some of our training. So that's part of his, it's an open role. It's a flexible role. I like our admin is remote. She doesn't live here anymore. And I just want her for X hours. It doesn't have to necessarily, like, yes, there's a time window that I need you to do your thing, but I also know you have a life. and there's flexibility in that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. We have basically 5 full timers. So yeah, that's it. And then and then one of our guys just the photo booth stuff for us is photo booth stuff for me is I enjoy that side of it. It's definitely part of our business. I
You
had this
like photo
epiphany.
booths?
Uh,
You
I like the money it makes.
okay?
Sorry to get that. Yeah,
Drastic difference. I will just be clear.
don't get it twisted.
Fucking hate photo booths. I also like the money they make, so we'll do them. But fuck, I hate photo booths. Back to you.
So, so I had this epiphany. I was at the Mobile Entertainer Expo thing with the photo booths. We saw these really sexy, like wooden bamboo photo booths. They're like 10K a piece.
Phew.
And I was like, I said out loud to Adam, we were walking through, and I said, man, I said, I guess I just need to figure out if we're a DJ company or a photo booth company, or we're a DJ company who does photo booths. Like, there's a distinction.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely.
And if you look at our events, we are a photo booth company. We have a lot of standalone that's grown over time, but we are a standalone photo booth company. So we need to do it well instead of just okay. We need to do it very well. So like that's been the focus over the last few months is to improve that, make it better. But at the same time, it's time consuming, making sure everything's lined up, everything's in the boxes and all that stuff. So one of our DJs is going to be coming in. He's already been helping out in the warehouse some on getting stuff ready, and now he's going to hop in and handle a lot of that stuff too. It's yeah, Rick, to your thing, man. At this level, we're starting to get busy, and there's certain things that I need to be doing that I don't have time to do because I'm scurrying around charging uplights or both uplights or this, that, or the other.
Do you actually have both lighting uplights?
I do. We do have some. We have some old school like kitten lens that are
Oh God, yes.
they're nearing the end of their life, but man,
Held
we've
up.
gotten the ROI on those
Right.
things.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
you
they're-
have.
Oh hell yeah.
I mean, if you
And
so haven't
we
bought
have
Chinese
the,
uplights and made a hell of an ROI off them, you're stupid. Honestly. But
So, especially in busy times. Like I think this week for us, it's a medium week, and I think we have 12 weddings on Saturday, somewhere in there. So like, there's a lot of gear prep that goes into that. So at some point, I'm not able to do the things I need. Like right now, I'm looking for a new accountant or bookkeeper, and I have some homework to do, but just all of the things get in the way of doing that during the day. So it's just a matter of bringing on people and balancing. Because I would love to have everybody here all the time, but from a financial standpoint, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I'm going to left-hand turn us hardcore.
You go.
Christmas tree or your tree lighting, holiday lights. What is this?
I run so
Tell me about it.
we launched it last year. Basically, well, let's go back 2 years ago, 2021 Christmas time frame.
Yeah.
Big client propositioned us to not only do pipe and drape uplighting, speaker rental in his airplane hangar for his daughter's rehearsal dinner for her wedding, but he's like, yeah, it's Christmas time and the place needs lights. Can you do that for me? I can figure something out for you based on based on who you are. So I did some digging on the back end. I figured out what you need to charge and everything, threw a spitball number at we're talking like a giant number at him, and he agreed to it. I went to Home Depot that night and bought fucking $6,000 worth of Christmas lights, and we put 2 miles of Christmas lights on this thing. But I also in the back end stumbled across running a service-based Christmas light business that you provide a service to clients where you go put lights up on their house. And in the commercial world, they're literally cut to length. It's super easy to do. Like, there's no tools involved. And then you own the lights still. They don't own the lights. And you just basically tell them that their lights are always going to work. You take them down at the end of the year. You charge them next year the same damn price. So that way you can fix anything that's broken, and you just roll from there. So first year we just did it for him, took photos with plans of, hey, we're going to go ham and do it. So we put all the business back end stuff together in literally like September, like getting the website, social media, the branding, the shirts, everything together, trying to figure out how the fuck we're going to do it. Ordered some stock, but not much. We put our money in marketing and sales first, and shit, yeah, it blew up. And we ended up running into the bigger problem of trying to get all the houses done with like so many people said, yeah, we'll go hang Christmas lights, and then they get up on these $500,000 $1 million mansions with pitched roofs like this, even though we got shoes and everything, and they're like, I don't know about this. I don't feel safe up here, even though you're in a harness and everything.
Hell yeah.
So that was a grind and a half, and every one of my guys, I pulled DJs and stuff, and anybody that was willing to come help to get that shit done, everyone saved the day on that. But yeah, we literally created a 6-figure business basically in 3 months out of nothing.
So you've been operating for 2 Christmases now?
One. We ran the first one under our DJ business as Fusion Sound Lighting. We launched the Greensboro Holiday Light entity just last fall. So, and this year I'm hiring a full-time sales operations person. That's where I used hiring steps to hire a person for that. But yeah, it's really cool.
Any idea so far of how many repeat clients? Like how conversion wise?
So we did 54 houses, a combination of commercial properties. We had a couple strip malls where we literally put wreaths and stuff up on. And right now, all the commercial clients are re-upped. And I think last time I checked, we're at 15 residential clients that have re-upped for next year. I have all anticipations of doubling this business this year because we had a lot of clientele that basically said it's too much money this late in the year to try and do it. But they were all thrilled. They're like, "This, we've never heard of this. This is an amazing service. I 100% want to pay someone to do this for me." And I also am going to see a lot of the keeping up with the Joneses starting in a lot of neighborhoods when we're doing this because commercial lights are literally twice as bright as anything you'll find at Home Depot. So they stand out substantially. But yeah, it's an exciting...
You paying the lights off in one install?
More than one, yeah. They're every basically.
You mean less than one?
So in terms of materials, you're looking at about $4 per foot of roof line, and we're charging $12 per foot.
Okay.
The guys do get compensated very well for the jobs they're doing. I mean, they're making...
my ass is on that steep ass roof, I would be too.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that also spurs it. Like this year, I got all intentions to go find all the firehouses and be like, hey, you guys bored and want to make some extra money to buy some Christmas gifts this season? Because you can go do a house and make $200.
Yeah, hit up all the homeless people.
And it literally will take them maybe an hour or two.
Yeah.
There's
just go
look for
homeless
people. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Be like, you trying to not spend so much money on Sharpies and cardboard? Let's fucking hang some Christmas lights.
No, better yet,
you can
give them the sign.
You can spend more money on Sharpies and cardboard.
No, better yet, I put up all those signs throughout the city, and then the fucking city takes the signs down literally come Monday. It's called bandit signs. You put them out on Friday and then hope they get to Monday and stay up there. So better yet, I'm just going to go find the homeless people and pay them to hold the damn signs for me.
Yeah, advertising signs. It's funny. I was actually talking to someone about that the other day. Like, do you think that what those people write on that sign when they're panhandling affects the income amount? You know, like if it's a joke or if they're like, I need money for children or like whatever. I wonder I wonder who's good at it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know, you're the one, like, whatever you wrote on it is actually convincing people to give you money.
You want the data.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass about it. I'm truly like, I wonder what is the golden sentence on a cardboard sign to get me to hand you money.
It's funny. It's got to be the funny one. Like the ones like in college.
It's humor. It's definitely humor.
Yeah, like in college where the college kid would walk down there with a sign and be like, need money for a pack of beer. Like, need $20 for a pack of beer.
I don't know. I mean,
those were so
when
fun.
I see someone who's like I don't know exactly, but
You got the
if it's
veteran-
funny, if I'm in Vegas on the Fremont Street, if someone
Fremont
has a
Street?
funny sign, I remember one dude wrote, it was like, tip me if you think your girl is hot, or something stupid like that, and it was like,
I literally just saw this.
that same guy, and he's been doing that, and that guy, I'm pretty sure I tipped him, and okay, but that's a different scenario. But on the side of the road, if I see someone who's like, my kid's about to die if I don't feed him, and you give me $1,
the
or like,
biggest
whatever,
ones is, like,
those
homeless-
get to me, you know, like,
You got homeless, veteran. Honestly, I think they would be way more successful if they just had a sign that said "Need money for weed," like "Going to be honest, need money for weed" or something like that.
Well, that's like there's a dude I saw recently that was like too ugly to strip or something. It was just a dude.
Too ugly
Right.
to
And
strip.
he's like too ugly to strip. I'm
That's
like,
good.
that's funny. At least you got me to laugh. So like, okay, I'm more inclined. Humor,
Yeah, I don't know.
humor is the way into people's wallets. generally speaking.
someone, Brian in the chat, who's the Michael Jordan of hobos? Oh my god.
Well, it's kind of like
It's like, bro, you're so good at this.
It's
one
the-
time,
it's-
one time I'm walking into this bodega. I'm going to buy my dad toilet paper because it was when the toilet
Okay.
paper scare of COVID happened, right?
Okay.
And I'm just looking everywhere for it, right? You could not get it. Anyways, I heard this bodega had it. There was a homeless person outside, and I can't remember. I set it in my head. I was like, oh, if this place has toilet paper, when I walk out, I'm gonna ask them if they want food or some shit. I don't know. It was some stupid. So they had toilet paper. I walked out and I was like, hey, do you need anything? Like, what's up? And this person was like, yeah, actually, can you go in there and get me vegan chicken salad and an Earl Grey tea with soy milk? And I don't mean to be a dick, but I was like, God, like, I was like, what? You're a fucking vegan? How? Like, don't you eat garbage?
don't you just want like a bag of chips and a pop?
I was like, you don't want pizza. Like, don't you eat like
Quote of the
Pizza.
podcast here: don't you eat garbage?
Don't you eat
I don't even
garbage?
mean it like that.
Don't
but
you
I
eat
was
garbage.
just like, oh my god, that was the bougiest order I've ever heard. I wouldn't even
It's gonna
order
be the new
that.
intro
And,
in the
like,
next podcast. The
people are
dude
gonna hate
with
me.
glasses,
Yeah.
aka, do you eat garbage?
I just got myself re-canceled. God damn it.
Be canceled.
That's super
God.
funny.
What was I thinking about? You had me thinking about something that I lost, and then you spoke about garbage, and now I'm lost.
That was
I was
Holy
thinking
shit.
about something. It was something along the lines of the homeless or the panhandlers.
we're almost done. I'm gonna scroll through the chat and see if there were any questions or.
I'm gonna try to remember this quote about something I was thinking about in terms of people when he was talking. Jesus Christ.
Well, while Rick is thinking, did you just go see Blink 182? Eric?
Yes,
He did.
I did, and I'm going to see him again in July.
Where did you see him and where are you?
I
going
saw
to
him in New York, and then
Okay.
I'm going to see him in Charlotte next. And I fucking did not spare an expense at all on either show. Just
No, dude.
close as fuck to the stage. Literally, I was screaming like
Yeah.
a little girl
Pit
the
tickets?
whole
What we
fucking
doing?
time. I don't like the literal pit. I like seats, but
Okay.
still, I was super close. I mean, I literally the pictures on my phone, like it was we're fucking 30 feet from them. You know, it was fantastic, and they've been like my favorite band since I was in 7th grade. So, and I've never seen them before with the original members. I could not have been more excited. I literally was screaming.
Interesting.
You know, it was awesome.
Eric, how old are you?
32, 33 next week. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 39. This is my senior year, like right before we graduated. They played in Atlanta and Charlotte. It was Jimmy World, Green Day. At the time, Green Day had like slumped, so they're opening for Blink, and so I ended up going to both back in the heyday. Phenomenal. So that's cool that you got to see them for the first time.
Just so
Like,
excited.
as the actual Mark, Tom,
Right,
Travis.
right. I saw him with the other dude, and I mean, it was still good, but it's not the same. Just not the same.
I didn't even know there was another dude.
The Alkaline Trio singer joined in place of Tom.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
it just isn't the same vibe. It was literally a night and day difference. And when they announced their world tour, I was like, there's a chance this never happens again and the crazy dude leaves the band again. Like, we're going twice. I was like, fuck it. Like,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
Rick, are you a concert guy?
Not really. I am, but I'm not.
Okay.
Like, yeah. That's the best way to put it. I am, but I'm not. It's like I always find an excuse that I'm too busy. It's like I would love to go to concerts.
What's the last thing you saw?
Shit, college EDM festivals.
I just don't understand. It's so weird to me when DJs like will post like a video from them riding in their car and they're listening to EDM music. I'm like, do you really just listen to this like in your day to day? It's so weird to me. It's weird to me.
I do.
That's weird.
But
both
like,
of you are fitting the bill of weird in this.
But it's got to be like Alesso and stuff like that. Like I don't like the newer EDM. I'm not really
like you could not
like the heavy house or EDM or trance stuff. Like I got to hear like the early 2000s EDM stuff to get me hype.
I went and saw Skrillex, and that was fucking awesome. That was super awesome. But other than that, and I've seen a bunch of, I saw Zed and Dylan Francis and this and that, and it was just like, meh, it's a DJ. I know what he's doing. But Skrillex, I don't know. It was just different, I also saw Bass Nectar on some drugs, which was awesome because I was on those drugs. But that was a long time ago.
EDM's like my thinking music. Like I can easily just drown it out and like just like focus in on what I'm doing is the bigger thing.
1000%.
Like I can't listen to literally like Blink 182 or stuff like that when I'm trying to get work done because all I want to do is like just sit there and
shake my hands
and sing along and shit. Like I can't just be like going ham on the computer.
Yeah, I usually don't listen to music while I'm working, just in the car.
That's okay. That's bizarre.
Yeah,
I cannot work unless I have music.
It just distracts me too much.
I have to have music. I have to drown
Sometimes
out.
I'm like, I have to be silent, or nothing gets done.
No, I'm the opposite. Like music is my focus time. I have to have music to be able to focus in. Like headphones in, noise canceling on, straight music, straight computer.
Well, if you're listening to EDM, which is basically like elevator music, it doesn't even count. It's just background nothing.
But it's better than elevator music.
I don't know. That's EDM in my brain.
Yeah. Anyways,
well,
this is top of the hour.
From garbage to
yeah, right. Well, this is really good. Honestly, I like how much business we talk. I like when we talk about fucking business on this thing. It gets me excited. You've come so far even since we became homies, honestly. Well, I mean, since 2020, I didn't really talk to you before COVID, I don't think. You do a lot of, just real quick, because I know we're supposed to wrap up, but you do a lot of mentorship stuff. You're in mentor pods? Do you do that? Or what do you do as for getting
education?
Yeah.
Personal education.
Personal development.
Yeah, there you go. That word.
Yeah. Right now, mentor pods.
Think tank. You're a think tank.
Pretty much it.
That could be counted as that.
Tank. Yeah, definitely. Learning from others. I mean, it's like, you do this long enough, you meet tons of people. You like talking to Rick about this holiday lighting thing, like something I wouldn't have thought of as an avenue.
Mm-hmm. Neither did I.
It's a legit.
I literally owe that guy some. Like I told him last time, like, dude, thank you so much for spurring me on this idea. Like and he's like, dude, 100%. Like this dude's got more money than he could ever want in his life. He's like, I just love giving back. If you ever need anything, referrals, everything, I'm here to tell people this is an awesome service. So it's cool.
That's it. Just learning from others, and not everything is for you or you or you, but you talk to enough people, you're like, I could add that, or we could make that our own. So that's first personal stuff. Tank, mentor pods, which excited. Have you said you're doing mentor pods? Are you doing
Yeah,
mentor pods?
yeah. I haven't started
Okay,
yet. I signed up for it,
great.
but I haven't started yet. I don't. I was talking to him because he does so much business coaching shit, and I was like super like too arrogant for it, and then I was like, all right, that is like the next step. Like I'm really stepping on my own foot here by being that full of myself, kind of thing.
Yeah, my business coaching has its own community aspect to it, and I really enjoy being around people that aren't in our industry because it gives me way more ideas around. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing the things I've learned like from landscaping companies of like how they operate and stuff like that. Because god damn, that is a logistic fucking nightmare. Or running a lawn care company where like it rains and now you got to reschedule like fucking 20 lawns and work them into a schedule that already has 20 lawns the next 5 days in a row. Like it's crazy.
Oh, you can't mow a lawn in the rain?
No.
I was joking.
Oh, you fucking dumb. I fucking hate you.
I used to have to mow my lawn when I was like 12. That was like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
and I ran.
still mow my own lawn,
I
but-
ran a riding lawnmower into my dad's car on purpose because I knew he'd never make me mow the lawn again if I did that. I literally totaled his car in the driveway.
Fucking asshole.
Yep.
So, do you cut your own grass now, or
No,
who cuts
I
your
don't.
grass?
I don't have any grass on my current property.
He's got gravel.
That's
I cut
one,
my own
that's
grass.
one way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, who's going to cut your grass at your new
I'm
house?
going to pay someone. I don't know. I'll find someone.
That's gonna be a nice
It'll
bill.
either be Rachel. I'm either going to figure out automated something, or
I have
pay
recommendations
someone.
if you want one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I'm looking at auto mowers right now.
Yeah, I've been looking at them too.
My neighbor has one, man. That's just insane.
He's got a Husqvarna.
Yeah, you have to get
It's
a ball one.
I think it's a Husqvarna. It's a serious machine. I looked it up and like he has is it Bermuda? And it keeps it so tight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like his yard looks like a golf course because he cuts
Yep.
it every morning. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm gonna get that. It's so, and they're only. I think they're under $1,500. And they might be at $1,500.
Depending on how big your
A
yard
good
is.
one
yes.
is not.
It is.
I was about to say,
I'm pretty
depending on
sure
how
the
big your
Husqvarna
yard
one
is.
is the one. It might have been 2,000, but either way,
Husqvarna has an
$2,000, like,
$800 one, but like you have to have a really flat and really small yard.
No, I'm talking about the ball and ass dope ones.
They're like 5-6
So
grand.
the
Are they?
5K. Yeah.
I was about to say
My
they're like
neighbor's
five-
is a 5K machine.
I've actually been making a list of shit I want to buy on Black Friday this year because we're moving into our new house in January. And then I'll have a yard and, a 3-story fucking house, and I don't have any of that right now. So, like this specific Roomba I want 3 of them now.
Did you see
for each
Dyson
floor,
came
and
out with one?
I haven't.
Dyson has a robot vacuum now too.
The Robo Rock is apparently the brand that is
That's what we got.
untouchable.
That's what we got. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, they
It's
have,
got a laser and it
self-cleaning-
maps your whole house.
self-cleaning
It's fucking
mop
awesome.
system and auto empty. It's just like the shit.
I have a smart.
I liked the Roomba, but it was a pain in the ass because it kept getting stuck on.
Oh yeah,
These
we
they've
moved
really
our
come a
room
long
upstairs
way.
and it fucking sucks. Go look up the Robo Rock. It's great. It actually maps your whole thing and you can set don't go here zones and all that.
Yeah, and also, but it'll see that you have a thick rug and it'll raise itself. Like
It'll up the suction if it's like on carpet and reduce it, and you can set like don't mop zones, and it literally will go mop and.
Yeah. Well,
It's
these
fucking
Roombas,
awesome.
you're talking about a $200, $300 Roomba. These are $1,400. They're like fucking dope.
Yeah.
But they'll clean your shit and it'll mop your floor like you actually mopped it.
We only got we got like a $600-$700 Robo Rock. It only vacuums, but it's fucking awesome. Like the most fun is the first time you turn it on and on the app you watch as it uses its LiDAR sensor and maps your whole house around, and then you go in and draw and set up where all the rooms are, and then you can literally tell it, hey, go vacuum the kitchen real quick, and it'll go fucking vacuum the kitchen.
That's badass.
Yeah.
It's like I know we're sitting here talking about vacuums.
I don't care.
You know you're
It's
in
fine.
your 30s when. So the thing is though, like you don't realize until you have one run every day how much shit is on your floor every fucking
I know.
day. It's like, oh my God, we live in this filth every day. Like,
Uh-huh.
It was having the kid
Yeah.
that really brought it to light, honestly, because he's like his knees are
I'm
just covered in shit all the time. Like, what the fuck? Get off your knees, you idiot! Crawling around, can't even walk, dummy.
Yep.
oh man.
Anyways, I guess we'll wrap this up right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, however it is that you're consuming our podcast content. Of course, if you are listening, you can go watch it on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can listen to your car on Spotify and all the different Apple podcasts, every source that's out there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you guys next week with another amazing, awesome podcast with a guest that is Chris Washburn. I just had to remember that in my head. So we'll see you guys next week. Anyways, peace.